Welcome, friends, to another episode of Piece of the Pie Show, Chai with Pie. Today, I have with me Mitch. He is going to be telling us all about his experiences in crypto and what he is doing with Mitchmas, why he started it, and who it benefits. So, I'm so glad you're here. If you're new to the channel, take a moment to subscribe. And if you find the content to be helpful, entertaining, and you just like us, then go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment. If there's somebody else you want to see me have a chat with, I appreciate it so much. Without further ado, let's bring Mitch on. I've known Mitch from Twitter for a long time now. We've been in the space for a few years now. We're probably considered now OGs, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for come on here, Mitch. I appreciate it.
Oh, this is amazing. I know we've been trying to get together on this for a little bit now. I think we started last year trying to connect and do this. So I appreciate you having me on. This is amazing, and to be able to have a passion and have a drive and give the opportunity to reach other community members, to reach other people within the space. It's a big deal. Like when people have something that's profound, or if people have something that's positive to say, they just don't have the reach, and then so it's helpful when you network with people and you can kind of extend that reach and reach other people, and it's pretty amazing. I've really enjoyed this space, and so.
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed following you, that's for sure. Now, when did you first get into crypto?
I got into crypto the end of 2017, right after the big bear. I was looking at it in early 2017 because I'm being a carpenter, looking at my pension, knowing that it's probably not going to be there when I retire, so I needed to supplement, what I was doing for retirement. And so I've been watching crypto for a little bit, trying to understand it. And then so I found a friend that was actually in it and had him sit me down and kind of teach me what was going on. So I was doing some research, and then after the bull run, when things started pulling back, I started trickling in. I got into the space, and then started trickling funds into crypto and just kind of rode the wave all the way down, probably December, January of 18, 19.
Yeah.
And you remember when we had the major bottom of 18 basically in December there, and it was at that point, it was funny because I'm going, dang, was this really a bubble? Maybe this is all going to shit,
Yep.
I'm like, well, no guts, no glory. You know what? Just do it. And so I bought, I put in whatever I had left, because I've just been trickling in along the way, kind of dollar cost averaging unwittingly. And just like, oh, it went down, I'm gonna buy a little more, kind of a thing,
Yeah.
But then after that, it was kind of like got this cold chill, you're just kind of watching things, and then all of a sudden it starts going up, and you're like, all right, I made the right choice. And so it was after that moment that I started, along that journey, I should say, I started really looking at crypto as not monetary, not so much a monetary tool as it was something that was lifting up humanity, something that was giving humanity another shot, and kind of separating the off-balance power structure of the world. And that to me meant more than anything, because at the end of the day, the little guy's the ones that make everything run, but yet he gives them the attention he needs, and they don't give him the reward he deserves for making this country run, making any country run, because it's by their backs that the country runs.
Yep.
And it's just, so I got real passionate on that end of things.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's so true. They're literally the people that are out there breaking their backs for very little reward at the end of their time, when it's time to retire. You know what I mean? I mean, we could talk about that another day as to what that, what that can be there for people. There's so many people that I know, like physically know, that were counting on their retirement when it came time for retiring. They can't afford it. They can't.
No.
I mean, money's like barely there. They had to
Right.
get jobs like in their late 60s and 70s. It's ridiculous.
It's depressing.
It's so depressing. You see them at like Walmart or Home Depots or wherever, and they're working, and they shouldn't have to do that. They should be able to enjoy their life, what they were promised by the government.
Exactly. And it goes back to the late John McAfee, rest his soul, you know, talking about slavery and how we're all slaves to a system.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, think about it. Like, and we are so much that because what do? We get up every day to go to work,
yeah,
to feed the family, to pay the bills, to pay the taxes, and to get up the next day and do it all over again.
Yeah.
You know, and so few actually stumble onto opportunity or actually know the direction to go to better themselves, right?
Yep.
So they don't have to stay in that system, that slavery system, the rest of their lives. And I think it's a big deal that, you know, I still believe to this day, there's the conspiracy theory of crypto was actually created by our governments, but I don't think so. I want to live by that thought process that this was a gift to humanity, and let's treat it as such.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. You know, that would be a worst case scenario for sure if that was the case. Then we really are living in a matrix, and there's really no getting out of it, no matter what you do.
Right. Exactly.
And that seems a little depressing.
I mean, yeah, it does. It does, but we just have to pretend that we're Neo.
Yeah.
You know, right?
Yeah.
Gotta find our way out of that, fight the system.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, you know, I think that there's people that I really admire because of that. Now, Andrew Tate, I don't know if many people would like this or not, but regardless of what he has to say that a lot of people don't agree with, I think he's doing a lot of encouraging for men and for women too. I mean, if you just sit and listen to what he has to say, there's a lot of positivity there. Break free from the system. Like, get out of the 9-to-5. Stop working for the big guy. You know, figure out what your talent is, what your God-given gift is, and that way you can really benefit for your own family and work on that. I mean, you have a gift, you know, carpentry. That's a gift. Like, I can't do that. Not everybody can, but everybody can do something unique.
Right.
But we get programmed.
It's realizing what that gift is and using it for the right purposes.
100%.
You know,
school systems are not doing a very good job of making any one of us entrepreneurs. They just, I mean, they need little robots to work.
Yeah, well, that's because the school system is all part of the indoctrination process. Exactly. And programming you to be in the system.
Yeah.
And it's entrepreneurs that are trying to get out of the system. It's entrepreneurs that are trying to rise above the system.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not doing it for wealth. Not in the least. I'm doing it to have the sovereignty of me and to be able to control what I spend my money on, who I spend my money, give my money to, what I do with my money. It's mine. It's not yours. It's mine. I earned it. Guess what? You get a piece of it, but it's mine to spend. And for you to tell me that how I should spend it, that's where I have the problem.
Yep.
You know, I've always said, and I said it on the Campfire podcast, you know, I'm not anti-government, I'm anti-control.
Yeah. 100%.
And that's all they're trying to do. So the school, yes, it's a perfect indoctrination tool for them. That's why they fund it. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, why else does the government fund schools?
Yeah. I mean, if you think, like, I remember I was talking about Facebook. This has been years back where people didn't understand, like, well, why is Facebook free? Well, you know, if anytime something is free, you really got to wonder, like, you're the product. If there is no product being sold, then you are it. Well, where is the government? Why are they wanting to teach our children? Well, for free, supposedly. I mean, other than the taxes you pay for at the end of the year, but otherwise it's free per se, public school system. And I mean, they've got to be getting something out of it. Otherwise, it wouldn't.
You can't afford it, we'll help you.
Yeah.
We'll give you assistance.
We'll give you some free lunch while your kids are there, you know, all these different things, but it's for a reason. Nothing in life is free.
Nope. You're right. Absolutely. Nope. Everything comes with a cost.
Yeah. 100%. Well, I mean, I'm sure I could go off on many tangents on that, but maybe we should we should have you talk about Mitchmas and what you are doing for the spirit of Christmas, and you know, about giving back to the people that do need help.
Right. Yeah, no, thank you for that. So about 3 years ago during COVID, actually, I was so moved by everybody that was struggling. And I mean, I was kind of struggling a little bit, but my blessings just kept me floating. But I seen so many people just impacted in such a negative way, and I think it was just put on my heart to, you know what, I want to do a fundraiser. I got a lot of friends, a lot of people I interact with on Twitter. Let me just do a fundraiser and see if we can help somebody. And real quick, all my friends kind of lovingly dubbed it Mitchmas. And so we just kind of ran with that. And the first year was incredible. I mean, within less than 2 weeks, the community came together and we raised was pretty close to $10,000 in less than 2 weeks. And found a veteran here in Illinois that was a really good recipient of it. And, you know, that was kind of the start. And, you know, the funny thing was the goal when I first started, it was just maybe I can cover dinner for a family for a week. Maybe I can pay somebody's gas bill that they're behind on, or their electric bill, because money wasn't flowing at that time. Everybody was sitting home. People were forced out of their jobs. You know, you really look back and see what happened, and it was just atrocious, but that's a whole nother story. You know, so it felt good to actually take my blessing and hand some to somebody else, because I had enough. You know, everybody in the world, and maybe that's not the right way to put it, a lot of people look at wealth and they look at themselves and they just want more and more and more and more, right? And the whole goal is to try and gain all this wealth, all this financial and monetary and physical things, right? But in that process, you lose sight of, if you've been blessed with more than you need, it's your duty as a human being to share that with somebody that hasn't had that blessing, or that opportunity of that blessing, or that's fell on some hard times, or, you know, can't seem to pick themselves up. You know, there's something about helping somebody that wants to help themselves, but just hasn't found the opportunity to do so, or the ability to do so.
Yeah.
And when you do that, when you say, you know what, I have enough, I can give because I have more than I need, and you give something to somebody else. You know, there's a lot of people that donate to charities, and I'm not knocking charities. Charities are great. The only downside of a charity, an organized charity like that, is that there's a lot of people with their hands in it, number one.
Yep.
Number two, you really don't see the ultimate fruit of your gift, right? You don't see that ultimate benefit for what you did for somebody else. And so that was the other angle of it. I wanted to not highlight it for attention for myself, but to highlight it to kind of two things. For the people that did donate, the people that did gift, were able to see the reactions from their gift. We're able to see, you know, like, what good is Christmas morning if your kids are opening their presents and you're still in bed? Like, where's the joy in that, right? So the community was able to actually see and witness that and feel that along with all of us, right? And so that was pretty incredible. And then the flip side to that is basically just knowing where your efforts are going.
Yes.
You know, and to help inspire others to kind of stop spending your time focusing solely on you, focusing solely on your immediate little bubble, because there's so much more to life than just what's right here in this little nuclei, you know. And once you venture out and you start, you know, you go at life with a feeling of compassion, with empathy, with humility. Humility is just, it's something that once you feel it, and once you understand what it truly is, being broken and being lifted back up, that's humility and being humble, because everything's a gift.
So true.
So that's what Mitchmas is. Sorry, I might have got a little
No, that's fine.
I started Mitchmas again this year. We have a young lady whose baby girl is just over 2 months old, and I think it was at 2 weeks. Apparently, she was born with a I forget what it's called, like not a deficiency, but there's another word for it. She was born with something that caused her to have a brain hemorrhage. So she actually had a hemorrhage of the brain, and they had to, they had her in the hospital, and put tubes and stuff inside of her to drain the fluids from her brain. And they're concerned that for as long as it was that there was pressure on there, that she may have some brain deficiencies, but they're not sure. And during the process, the father just kind of decided to boot the mother out and kind of run away, so to speak. And so he's kind of out of the picture. She's left without a place. And so she's staying with a friend of hers. And then her car blows up on the way to the hospital one day. The engine glows on her, and just one thing after another. There's I think the son is 4 or 5 years old. And so, it touched me in such a way. And plus it's through a friend of mine. It's actually a relative down the road, not down the road, but a relative down in relation from him. Mm-hmm. And so it helps when you can actually have somebody in that situation, because it's vetting that person and solidifying the legitimacy of it, number one. And so it saves that part of it. But so that's where our funds are going this year. And so far, I have a Christmas wallet. So we gave out some last year, helped a couple of people. And there was I think there's some Litecoin, Bitcoin. I have a picture of the wallet on Twitter. I keep just a dedicated wallet for Mitchmas. And so it's fully transparent. If anybody ever wanted the address, they could see exactly where the money goes. And come Christmas time, I cash out the funds and, get a check and present it to whoever the recipient is. And that's kind of how we're doing it again this year. So we have about $2,500 in there left over. And then I have about $2,300, $2,400 in donations so far this year. So, we're right around 4,500. So I'd like to see it a little bit more than that. I mean, she's planning on moving down to Texas with her mom. And so bringing her baby and her son with her and just kind of starting over. So not having a vehicle, it's going to take some time to kind of establish herself again and get back on her feet. So this will be a big boost for that. And if anybody wanted to donate toys, we can get you a P.O. box. You could send some stuff to, stuff like that for the son, for the, the boy that's kind of getting caught in the middle of everything,
Yeah. So, probably doesn't quite understand everything.
No. Yeah. But that's where Mitchmas is going this year. And I'm, pretty proud of my community, our community, everybody, all our friends, and everybody that's always kicked in for this. So if you guys are interested, look me up on Twitter, hit me up on Cuss Carpentry, Mitch, and and then I have my Mitchie's Motivational Monday YouTube. So you can hit me up on either one of those, and I'll be happy to, set you up with a way to give.
Yeah, and we can go ahead and put all those things that you mentioned. I'll drop them in the comments down below, and we'll pin the comment. So if anybody wants the P.O. box, and we can even put the wallet address on there. So if somebody wants to give, then they can give directly using, that will be easily accessible for anyone who wants to give. And I mean, what a great cause.
Thank you. I set up a Cash App specifically because I know some people aren't into letting go of their crypto. So if they don't want to donate crypto, they can donate Cash App, or like I said, you can get you a P.O. box for the donations if they want to send any brand new toys or something gently used or whatever for a boy that's 5 years old. And stuff like that. So every little bit helps.
Of course, yeah. I mean, is her baby still in the hospital, or?
Actually, she was just released from the hospital yesterday, so that's good. That's awesome. And so I think later this week, her mom's going to be coming up from Texas, and so they'll kind of get together, and it'll be a good Christmas for them. I think having the baby home, and she's stable. She's doing, I guess, from what I hear, she's doing okay. So I'll just kind of keep an eye on that and see how she continues to do. It's just a tough position.
Yeah, definitely is.
Yeah.
So. Well, we'll definitely, keep them. I know I'll definitely keep them in my prayers, and we'll put all those things in the comment box. So in the comment down below, so if anybody has access to them, sure. However they want to give, even if a little bit, every little bit does help, and it's a great cause.
Nickels and dimes add up to dollars and cents.
That's true. That is 100% true. All those now they're not lame, but as I was growing up, I used to think those were all lame things that my parents would say, save all your pennies, every penny, 100 penny makes $1. And it's like, oh, like that's
right.
That's
think
ridiculous.
How many pennies you leave on the counter because it costs you $1.99. It's $2. I'm in a hurry. I'm out. Right?
Yep. But I mean, I think there's a lot of things that I value now that I did not value nor understood earlier in my life.
Well, here's the thing about pennies, right? As soon as the dollar is destroyed and the government goes to a central bank digital currency and dollars and cents are no longer value and are no longer notes of trade, you'll be able to melt down all your older pennies and sell the copper.
That's true. Now, but I don't think they're even using copper anymore.
It's there's a date. I think it's pre-77 or something like that. Yeah. Anything earlier than that is the copper content is solid. But then beyond that, they started adding nickel and then started adding different alloys. But yeah, right now there's no value. Although the actual nickel that is made with nickel has more value than the nickel itself. So
really?
Yeah, every nickel I think is worth about 7 or 8 cents.
Interesting. So that still is nickel. Okay, well that's good to know.
The precious precious metals content. So
yeah,
that's one thing that we got that we can hold on to too is precious metals. They'll never really lose too much of their value. They'll always have a good note of trade.
I agree. I know there's a lot of people that are in crypto that don't necessarily agree with having any kind of precious metal as a store of value, but I tend to disagree with that. I do think that you should have a good, diverse portfolio. There's absolutely no reason to believe that Bitcoin should be your only mode of escaping any kind of tyranny or CBDCs or any of that. Yeah.
No, I'm not all Bitcoin, man.
There's a lot of, maximalists that don't think that there's any other way. And I mean, unfortunately, it's kind of you just don't know what the future holds. You should really be prepared for it to go in any different direction. So
I heard something today. It was the Crypto Mindset Reset Virtual Summit, and I was a speaker there this morning, and then provided a motivational video. Anyways, the guy was talking about holding your own keys and having self-custody. And it just kept saying Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. And it's like, Bitcoin's only got 24 million, blah, 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 right? Well, guys, Litecoin only has 84 million, right? So look at the value. If you look at the actual product, if you look at the actual use case for both of them, right? Why would I want to use Bitcoin for transactions? I would rather use Litecoin. It's cheaper, right? So, yeah, I never understood the maxi mentality. I totally get that Bitcoin's the granddaddy of them all right now, but still limited.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I mean, like if you sit there and you think about the value of those pennies and the value of the nickels and stuff like that, or anything, a dimes even I think it's pre-1962 when they're really made out of silver. The old quarters that were actually made out of silver, that 25 cents is worth like $2.50 or $3 or something like that. So, there's something to be said about that. And then, you kind of touched on it, when you said having a diverse portfolio. diversity is the key to life. Like nothing should all be just all one thing. Like think of your diet, right? You don't just sit there and, oh God, I hope you don't sit there and eat pizza every night, every day for the whole life. I mean, it's unsustainable. And so is putting all your efforts into one specific thing. You need to have some diversity and that more or less protects yourself. If something fails, you got backup. If you're not diverse and something fails on you, you're toast. And like all those people that were in this whole FTX thing that had all their funds in the FTX, bam, like, oh my God, I just lost everything I had.
Can you imagine?
I can't imagine. No.
I mean,
I'm
what a terrifying.
That I pulled out of Celsius months before because I seen something going on. I seen the writing on the wall, and I'm just like, something just doesn't seem right. So I pulled all my funds off and warned my family and friends that I got into it. And I'm like, hey, get your stuff out there. My brothers didn't, and they're struggling today. I'm like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
It's so true. I mean, but it's like being too confident in certain things. Like we were all there at one point where you feel like, oh, nothing can happen. This is fine. Right. It's safe. I've got all these people saying that this is safe. And, here's this one person telling me that, oh, I shouldn't make all this money in interest. Well, the greed kind of takes over too a little bit.
Right. And then, you think, you try to justify it. I mean, come on, this guy will go to jail like for his whole life if he runs off with the money. So, it's safe. The government will protect us. And now that they're kind of getting their hands more and more and more into crypto.
Yeah.
So diversity definitely the key. If you got all your funds in one Tether, like all your crypto in one Tether wallet. Really? Who would be that complacent that you would only do that? You don't leave your keys on your front porch to your house because it's easy to get into for yourself. No. We could go way on another topic right there with convenience. The conveniences versus the what you sacrifice for that convenience. But
yeah, I think we really have become more of a complacent society too. I mean, even all your money, you go and you put it in the bank. Why? Because it's it's easy and it's convenient per se. I beg to differ. I don't think so. And your money's not all that safe with a bank either. I mean, it's kind of something else that you're also putting your faith in that it's going to be there when you want it and you're going to be able to access it and all of it when you want it, if that's the case. I mean, gosh, if you ever try to withdraw more than a few $1,000s, that it's a nightmare at the bank to try to get your own freaking money out.
Yep. I totally agree. And it's just, it comes down to convenience. I remember back in the day, you used to just take your money and you go to the grocery store and buy a money order and grab a stamp and an envelope and mail your payment in, Yeah. Now we just go click, 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 click on our phone and, oh, that was easy. All my bills are paid.
Yep.
But the reality is it's a third party. In this world, anytime you put your faith in anything other than God, good luck.
Yep.
I'd rather put faith in my ability of these two hands to hold on to something and protect it.
Yeah, and I guess maybe most people are just not. Maybe people need more education and shown that it's really not that hard. It sounds really difficult to have all these, different things to remember when you're storing your money and to do this and do that. Don't use the same phone if you're, trying to go on different exchanges. Like there's so many things, but take it one thing at a time. Don't jump in all head first,
Right.
Learn.
You get in and you learn like we did. We got in. Yeah. We said, where do I buy it? Okay, that's where I'm buying it. And then from there, it was chaos. I don't know about you, but I went right to finance. And finance was I just had my funds on there and was, oh my God, this is so cool. You're making pennies and losing dollars. It was crazy.
Yeah. It was I mean, really 2017, 2018 were pretty intense times. They were fun. They brought a lot of roller coaster up and down. I made a lot of good friends during that time. Some
Yeah.
are still around, some are not still around. I mean, it was just a wild time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw that again with the whole NFTs. That was a wild ride as well, just watching it. For me, I did a lot of just watching from the sidelines because I really enjoy I really enjoy what they tried to do with the NFTs, and I see a lot of good like applications for it in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there is going to be, and I've actually talked to some projects that are using NFT technology to be able to do cool things with it.
Right.
But with the whole JPEG, those were insane. I did
Just too
not
much.
spend any money on a Bored Ape or any of that. I mean, I'm sure hindsight's 2020. Maybe I should have, but
Well,
it just
here's the
didn't.
thing. You can't catch everything.
No,
You can't get into every big thing that's coming out. And depending on how much time and energy you have to devote to something will determine what you can actually safely get into and safely get out of.
that's true. And I mean, as for me and for you, I'm sure I have a regular job that I work. I have a lot of responsibilities with that as well. So crypto doesn't pay my bills.
We're all crypto poor
Yeah.
still.
I mean, I think there's influencers that, crypto pays their bills and they do this all the time. This is their
Oh yeah,
full-time job.
yeah, yeah.
But
There's a handful of them, and yeah, that's another story for another
that
time.
is another story. But
You
I
really
do this
gotta,
mostly
you
for
really gotta
fun.
pick and choose
Yeah.
who you follow, who you choose to put your trust into, who you choose to put your faith into, and having the opportunity, like you and I have had, to physically meet. There's so many physical meetings that I've had with influencers in this space, and I've never liked the term influencer. I look at myself as an advocate. I'm an advocate for crypto, and I want to teach.
Mm.
And some people call that what is it called when you're I forget what it's called. Old age.
No, I agree. I kind of cringe sometimes at the word influencer as well because it just seems a little tacky. I don't know. Maybe tacky is
Well,
not the right word.
right. Well, when you're influencing, like you have influencers, and when you say influencer, okay, this person is pushing his influence on you to do
Yeah.
something, right? Like you have influencers when they're saying, hey, you need to get into this coin and you need to get into this project and you need to spend your money here and put money in this. And that's an influence, right? You're pushing your influence on somebody else, and they're looking at you as, oh, this person has all this knowledge and they're so brilliant. I should follow them. And the next thing you know, you're rug pulled.
Yeah.
Like, so you really got to be careful who you watch, who you trust. And
I agree.
that
And
comes.
that's why I really don't like to. And when I talk about projects, I always try to be like, listen, I find it to be interesting, but nobody knows. Crypto is highly volatile. Like it's you just don't know. I think this project's good today, but in 3 months from now, they could rug pull. Like I don't know the team personally, and even if I did know the team personally, like I can't
Right.
control what somebody else does.
No, and it's good until it's not.
Exactly. I mean, we could talk about that with the whole SBF and, with what happened there. That's, of course, the same thing. People didn't see it coming per se, but now, all these people are like, well, we tried to warn people about it and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, come on. There's always that guy who's like, oh, I saw the bear market coming or I saw the bull market coming. It's like, no, you didn't.
Well, the reality is you can tell people to your blue in the face. But, the reality is some people have to learn by making mistakes, and some lessons in life are really tough lessons to learn. And so being smart means you learn from your mistakes, right?
Yeah.
That's called being smart. You learn from your mistakes. Being wise is you learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, many of us are not wise. we're just smart. We have to do it the hard way.
It's a combination of the two.
I'm trying to be wise these days and not such a just being a smart person. I've lost a lot of money. I mean, it's this part of this, it's part of crypto. I mean,
It is.
so I come from personal experience to people. It's like nobody makes all the right calls. Nobody. There's zero people. If somebody tells you that they made all the right calls in crypto, I would totally unfollow them right away because they're full of it.
That's right. They're lying.
They're 100% lying. I mean, you can quote me on that because there's nobody that's made all the right choices. You just can't.
No.
You can't.
No,
just trying to make more right decisions than wrong.
Right, exactly. And you talk, it's funny how you mentioned SBF and, the whole FTX thing. And, all these people are looking at it like, why isn't it? It's funny because why aren't they arresting him? Why isn't the government, going after him and blah, blah, blah. Not that I don't agree with them, but for so many years we don't need government. We don't need regulation. We don't, because you really don't want it. You really don't want regulation because what happens is they just couldn't turn into control, and now all of a sudden everybody that got affected by it is like, well, we want the government to take care of it. And it's like, all right, but if you don't think that there's strong ties between the economic collapse that this country's seeing and that the globe is seeing, any ties with FTX and that whole thing, that's another rabbit hole and you could go pretty deep.
Yeah, I mean, one could say speculatively that like this whole collapse with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, like all that's happened was a very orchestrated act by the government that was done so you would run to the big brother and be like, please help us, we need you. And this is 100% a way for them to come in with their regulations, which is what they always wanted. Either way you look at it, the government won, right? They took the money from FTX that went to Ukraine. I mean, that whole big circle it made went to the Democratic Party and like that circle of money. And then now they're also getting their hands into the pie by like coming in and will bring regulations on us. So no matter how you look at it, they kind of won.
Right. And then too, if you look back at history, you look back when the government said, turn in all your silver and gold, and actually confiscated all the silver and gold from the people. That was a change of monetary system at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so where are we at right now in today's world with the CBDCs and the monetary system that we have? They're trying to change that monetary system. And what did they just do? They stole a crap ton of wealth between Celsius and all the other exchanges that went down, Crypto.com, all these other exchanges that have gone down that were holding, or I should say third-party entities that were holding your money, that were allowing this yield farming, and then FTX takes them all down. And FTX was that same thing, basically, where the government confiscated all the silver and gold. They basically just did the same thing and took everybody's money.
Interesting. And what if the payout is going to be in CBDCs to people that lost their money?
Could you imagine? Oh, gosh.
I know. What a cringy thought, but like, wouldn't people take it? If you're one of the people that lost their life savings and they were like, oh, we'll give you can have it back in CBDCs.
Right. But it's going to expire over time.
Yeah. You can only use it where we want you to. If you're, if you're going to your job too many times, or if you're going to your family, friends, you're using too much carbon. Sorry, you go to get gas. It's not going to work for you. You better walk home.
They don't want you to rise up. They don't want you to do better for yourself. They don't want you to be able to save money. They don't want you to be able to attain wealth. So they're going to suppress that. They're going to control that. You can't have a savings. Your money's going to expire if you don't use it. So they're going to suppress you from actually doing better in your life.
Yeah.
And that's kind of hard to swallow.
It is very hard to swallow, but I mean, we've already seen it, the level of control that the government can have over the people. I mean, we just came out of COVID. I mean, really, and with the whole vaccine mandates and you can't go here, can't do that. We didn't see it nearly as bad as in other countries, thank God. I mean, and I mean, for me, I live in a state where it wasn't so crazy here, but there are some states that it was pretty crazy.
Yeah. It was nuts.
Imagine now with that added, with that control, now your money control with it.
Right.
Like you can't have any access to no food, no money. You can't do anything. What are you gonna do? You're gonna bend down and do what they want you to do so you can have some food for your family?
Yep.
Most of us are not skilled enough to go out and hunt anything, or you know what I mean, or fish. Like I mean, you may be, but many people aren't that are living in the city.
No, I was thinking though that we all have a skill that we could trade with somebody else that does know how to do those things.
That's a good point.
You know, you don't have to know everything. You just have to know people that know everything.
What if you only have fiat? that isn't worth anything.
Right, but you still have a skill of some sort. Everybody's got
a skill. Yeah, we could barter the skill, yeah.
You know, everybody's got a value, whether it's straightening up for somebody, whether it's washing their car, you know, whatever your skill may be, you know, building something, planting something. You're good with gardening, you're good with flowers, you're good with all this. You know, everybody's got a skill that they could use to trade with. True. So, and that's why it's all about bringing community together and, you know, and utilizing community. It's kind of where we started, isn't it?
It is. It's, I mean, if we can all learn to get together and respect each other's opposing or different, you know, world viewpoints, because you're going to need it. Otherwise, you're going to die.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if it's in a survival mode, that's really only choices you have.
Well, you're either going to die physically or you're going to die mentally.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, mental death is worse than physical death almost.
Right? It's more torturous.
Torturous, yeah. I mean, imagine being in a tyrannical like situation where you're just tormented all the time.
We're kind of there.
I know, right? I know. I feel like it could be much worse.
Oh yeah, for sure. But this is just a taste.
Oh gosh, I'm not liking the taste.
I'm not either. You know, so what do? All you can do in life is live for the moment. Live for the moment that you have. Don't worry about yesterday. Don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow, it'll come. You know, don't worry about it, because if you're worrying about that, you're not putting your energy into the moment. You're not putting your energy into right now. And that's what matters, because that's what's tangible. That's what's right here in front of you.
That's true, because tomorrow's going to bring plenty of its worries with it.
That's right. There's no guarantee to tomorrow.
That is true. There is no guarantee for anybody.
That's right.
But, you know, I am going back to SBF. I am glad he is arrested. I am glad that he's arrested at least. Don't know.
Well, that was so he didn't have to stand trial.
Yeah.
On
Congress, yeah.
So he didn't have to dump everything he knows in front of Congress.
Yeah, now let's see if he just dies some sort of mysterious death.
Oh, yeah, they'll Epstein him.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know. It's a crazy times we live in, but at least it's good to have people like yourself. I know there's others out there that we can connect with and talk to, and at least be able to like know that we're not the only people that are thinking outside of the box and, you know, outside that matrix.
Yeah, we're not the only crazy ones.
I was almost gonna say that, but I'm like, well, that's not the that's not the right way of thinking about it.
You're right. Yeah, no, we're not the only ones that are open-minded and have our eyes open and can see you know, an apple for an apple and an orange for an orange. And when you're trying to be sold apples and they're selling you coal, for an apple, that ain't working.
No, it's a lot needs to change. Hopefully things will change for the better. That's the only thing that we can hope for. But in the meantime, crypto, I do agree with you that going back to that cryptocurrency brings about a freedom, a financial freedom, being able to transfer, you know, money to anyone, anywhere, at any time in a matter of instance, and for fraction of the cost. I mean, with like Litecoin, Digibyte, these are so fast. These are blockchains that's been around for a long time. They're trusted. When people ask me like what crypto I should buy, I always tell them you need to stick to, especially in a bear market, you need to stick to blue chip. Like you need top 3, top 10 at least. Like don't even. You should
don't
not
go by CMC. Not the top 3 on CoinMarketCap. No.
The ones that's known, that are building, and they've been building. So They're about the only thing we have to really hang on to, and
that's right.
Hope for the best.
That's right. You know, well, just keep doing what you do every day. You know, try to involve other people, try to enrich your life through different means other than just attaining dollars and cents and materialistic things. And you know, life has a whole different purpose at that point. Your focus doesn't end up being so diverted to just you and just, you know, your goals, but your goals and understanding that what you can attain in life, what you can do for other people.
100%, not just chasing money, or bigger house, bigger car, faster car, whatever. Right. When you die, you got to leave it all behind.
But yeah, you can't live in a big 6,000 square foot house and then complain about global warming.
That is true.
Be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Right? Yeah. Well, Mitch, I appreciate you being on today. I really would love to have you come back on at another time and we can talk and you can give us maybe an update on how things went with Christmas. Maybe we can, you know, catch up next month, January or February, and see how everything went with Mitchmas. And you guys, if you're not following Mitch, you should definitely. I'm subscribed to his channel, Mitch's Motivational Mondays. Every Monday without missing a beat, he has a video. So, and they're always uplifting. And many times I listen to your video and it's like almost identical to something I was struggling with that you're speaking on. So
timing.
Yes, it's perfect timing. And I imagine that's probably the same for many people that tune in and listen.
It's, you know, it's positive and very uplifting to have, you know, the feedback that I do get. And I mean, my video, say the video gets 15, 25, 30 views, right? And out of that, if I get one person that says, hey, I really needed to hear this today, thank you. That's all the reward I need right there. Thank you for that, you know. So yeah, and just since you touched on that real quick, I'm supposed to be meeting with the recipient of, not last Christmas, but the first Mitchmas. And they asked me, reached out to me and said, hey, how can we thank the community? And so I'm going to go over there and we're going to actually do a video and I'll put it on my YouTube channel, and of course I'll blast it on Twitter and, you know, kind of bring everybody up to speed on where they're at and how much everybody's generosity got them through months and months of hard times. So
that's perfect. That's awesome. That right there is what giving, like, why people like to give to somebody that they can see who's being helped than some big broad organization where you don't know where it's going.
Right. Thank you so much again, Pi, for this. This was amazing. I hope you guys all enjoyed the conversation that we had, and you know, it's just it feels good to be able to share with community, and that's what I think we're all about, and that's kind of why we align. And you know, our vibrational energies kind of draw us all together, like the ones that are on that same wavelength. And yeah, so good times.
Yes, and I'm sure good times ahead. Thanks again, Mitch, for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you have a good holiday season.
Yes, thank you. We'll have you back on for sure, so you can count on that.
Right on. All right, talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye. Wow, guys. Okay, so I'm sure you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. How awesome is that? I mean, that was really great conversation, from everything from CBDCs to SBF and Mitchmas, and, you know, having a diverse portfolio. These are all super important topics. I hope you guys learned a lot, and definitely, if you guys can so into Mitchmas, even a little bit definitely helps. I'll be dropping those, the wallet and the link for giving, all of them in the comment section below. So however you can give, please give Mitch a follow on Twitter. I'll drop his Twitter link down there too, and his YouTube channel. Please give him a go ahead and follow him and subscribe to the channel. You're not going to regret it. I promise. Again, thank you so much, you guys. It means a lot that you took out your time out of your special busy day to spend with me. I appreciate it. I will see you in the next episode of Chai with Pie, where I'll have another special guest and they'll be sharing their project with us. So come back and see me again in the next episode of Piece of the Pie, where I'll be helping you get your piece of the pie. Till next time. Bye. Is there anything in my got? This is a really good camera. I'm so glad I went with this one. Okay, bye. Get out of here. No, I'm kidding. Thank you so much for coming.